Well, thanks for sharing the humor. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's a privilege to be here, and thank you for joining this beautiful morning, making time for yourself. Just a small, simple reminder, as I speak from the heart, I speak inspirationally. So I discover the words just as much as you would discover them. And how are we doing? That's the question this morning. We already have answered one, but how are we doing? It's something we need to ask ourselves, because often life becomes too big, and often we give too much power to life, that it does become big for us. But how are we? Because if we are not there, then there is nobody out there. We have to understand where we are. So the inspiration between this conversation is just simple things. Because to be a vessel or a conduit to do God's work, or represent God that is within us, we have to understand that taking care of our physical body, our emotional body, and our spiritual body is very important. And the body itself is complex in its own way because of the physicality, the complexity of nerves, and the chemistry of our physical space. And then we add the layer of emotional complexity, make it even more difficult. Just going slightly back into my week, just this past week, it has been, I'll sit back and just be in the wonderment of Spirit's grace. That's how I would put it for myself, and it's my own journey. And what I'm sharing is my own perception and observation. Last Friday onwards, I was off for the entire week. And least I realized the place that I work, I thoroughly enjoy my commitment to my work and my journey of life. But the moment I stepped away, committing to my time off, it was a beautiful recognition. You know, taking care of me, or taking care of my immediate values of life was not on my list. It was not on my list. My engagement through that time away from work was still very busy, very dedicated, but it was all about what I love to do, what I love to do. I love to care for my personal needs and personal accomplishments. But the discovery within that was life was very simple. I had my set schedule, and life went on. And it was very simple because it almost felt like it was in autopilot mode, because I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't much there, anything. Everything was dedicated through Spirit, through God, or whatever it attributes to. But life was very simple. Life was very simple. And as I went through the motions, my work was extended, healing, teaching, speaking, demonstrating the aspect of mediumship. But the Monday through Friday, I was dedicated 8 hours a day just for personal growth and personal development. I studied with a master teacher that came from England, and it was just a beautiful opportunity to be among 42 other fellow human beings that were just there to honor their own spirits within themselves. Given we stayed and lived and breathed and ate in the same environment, so there was a heightened awareness of the energetics and the semantics. But those 5 days were phenomenal. There was no demand of getting up, doing this, or pleasing somebody else, other than waking up with an excitement. There's one more day of learning. There's one more day of self-discovery there. So those simple things in life, for me, was the aha each and every day was creating, because all I had to do was just be there. The knowledge was shared, the food was prepared, everything was there. I had friends that I could talk to and not worry about, oh, they think I am not from this world. We were sharing the same journey. But all I had to do was just be there, just be me. And all it was asking for me is to be present while I was having that experience. But how often do we take our minds off because we are so committed to pleasing somebody else, giving our time to somewhere that is really not appreciated, offering our skill set where it is not recognized for what it is. But I have this philosophy from a very young point, and I share this very generously. Should you feel that you're not in the right place, you're not appreciated, you're not valued for what it is worth to you, you have the same right as everybody else. We all have the right to make a choice. The journey within spiritualism has just pounded in a very positive way that we all have a choice. And that learning has come sometimes at an expense, but still it has left me with a smile on my face. So we all have a choice as we go on, because our philosophy within spiritualism harps about personal responsibility. And it's not that personal responsibility towards somebody external to us, but it is first internal to our own self. How do I take personal responsibility of caring for myself? Am I in the right environment? If I'm not, what can I do about it? Simple steps, taking small actions will change the outcome. How is my health? How do I care for myself? So that this vessel is good enough to serve others or the greater cause that is out there for me, to serve the purpose of life. How do I honor that part? Eating right, exercising. So the funny bit, my schedule is very busy, because Monday, tomorrow, I go back and do my other normal part of life, right? So I'm really excited because life's going to be totally different. And this week has allowed me to identify it. I took a morning walk every morning while I was in the class, because I had nothing to do but to be me. So I would wake up, I would go on a walk. The incentive was, at the end of the walk, there was a Starbucks cafe. Simple things, simple things. So I knew if I go to the right, I can go there in 2 minutes. But if I go to the left, I'll be walking almost a mile and a half to get to Starbucks. So that was an incentive. Go this way, it's along, and I would do a brisk walk. And it was awesome. But simple pleasure, simple things, simple reward of saying, to be able to enjoy that hot cup of coffee and go back to the room. Simple reward, simple things. So life doesn't have to be really a gold diamond ring or something magnificent. It could be a simple reward of eating clean, eating fresh, sitting in your power of space. But the journey was very extreme, because tomorrow morning I go up, my schedule is totally different. And I'm excited about it because I get to see the other set of people that I really love to be with. And they are my work colleagues. But simple things that has taught me a valuable lesson, because I can feel the difference in 5 days. If I continue these 5 days, another week, I know my quality of life is going to be totally different. Nothing right or wrong. It is my prerogative how I see myself while I'm going through the motions of life. But why is all this important to understand? We are a spiritual space hosting a spiritual essence within ourselves. We are all unique. This is just an external substance that we have given to something much bigger than life. That is source, the infinite, God, however your term is for you. But we have to understand, if this deteriorates, that spirit soul will move on to the next level of existence, and we will be remembered only, not being seen or heard in a physical manner. But our religion also believes there is continuity of life. And this is a beautiful journey. So my class time in the 5 days was a lot of ahas. There were a lot of people, different levels of development, but we were also supportive. That was the beautiful part. I've been in many bigger groups, but this group was phenomenally different. Nobody said, I'm not getting this because I'm an advanced student, I'm not getting this if I'm an intermediate student. It was such an uplifting energy and experience at that classroom time. Each and everybody sat while somebody was exercising, demonstrating, practicing, and to give them the love and the power they needed to do what they needed to do. And we all learned from that. We all learned from that. Advanced students, they were professionals. Everybody had such a big support for each other, and that was amazing. And that was like, oh, this is different. The consciousness in this group is different. They're all here struggling to develop their own skill set, but yet when it's time to give love and the energy to the person, that is needing that, everybody was there with them, and that was just beautiful. Simple thing. We all were present in each other's experience. And we have the ability to do that on this earth plane. But often we make this big about ourselves. We become bigger than what we are supposed to be. We become bigger than what we really are. And that's just the small truth behind simple things is, if we allow to see things this big, it will appear that big. They might be just minuscule as a grain of rice. But we give the power to the experience that we are wanting to create for ourselves. So the philosophy within our natural laws says there is a natural law of plenty. And often within our skill sets, or a specialized skill set, we become hoarders. And let me explain what the word hoarder means in that capacity. It's not literally as what the dictionary says. We hoard our skill set so that we don't share what we know with others, so that nobody gets to take a piece of the pie from what belongs to us. Sharing of skill set and knowledge is very important. If you know something that is exclusive to you, you have to pass it on. One person, two person, three person, may not be 300 people. Pass it on, because that legacy, the learning, the knowledge, and the experience you have gained is valuable immensely to the next generation, the next hand of people that are going to offer that. So a specialized skill set is very contained. You know, there are some family businesses, they don't give out secrets. Coca-Cola hasn't given out their formula yet. But Pepsi still sells, and other products do sell too, right? There's room for everybody in this universe. So that hoarding of our skill set sometimes is jeopardizing, because one day it's going to be our time and we'll cloak, and that skill set, that learning, the knowledge that you have gained is going to go with you. All is going to be that person did this and that would be all. So all these grandmaster teachers that are here in the physical body giving us what they know, when you're in their presence, take their learning and just make it your own. But remember that simple thing, there's a continuity of life. You must pass it on to the next generation. Sharing is very valuable. The beauty of our spiritualist religion is, because a lot of things are in this culture, in this religion, in this movement, are experiential. They're not documented word for word. These are not physical theories. These are experiential facts. These are experiential values, and you can only give them by sharing them with somebody else, possibly trying to reproduce the results through their own experience. It may not be identical, but it will be very close, or there is some variation of it. So you have to understand, when you are sitting in a place of responsible knowledge, you must share that knowledge with others. Simple thing. Continuity of life. What we know now, if we knew then, we would know something different today. Because it's an evolvement, it's an evolution. Life is moving forward all the time and seldom goes backwards. So you have to understand where the simple value of life comes in. You know something good. Take joy, take a sense of pride in sharing with others. Make them think for themselves. You know, you cannot really tell them to do identically. Maybe along the way they will know, if you give one more stir to this dish, it might have a little bit more flavor than other ways. Everybody has a different value, but at least there is a continuity of learning that needs to go on forward. This also takes me back to reflect, you know, the science of Ayurveda, back coming from the Eastern traditions. A lot of those skill sets are passed on from teacher to a disciple, or teacher to a student. You know, they are learned behaviors, they are learned patterns, and it's one-on-one teaching. And we are in such a beautiful place of technology, that technology is available to us to share this platform. Different parts of the country, different parts of the world, you can still see and sense that life is moving on. Those that are willing to teach are teaching out of their own sense of sincerity, that they need to leave something to the next generation that moves on forward. So the simple thing right now is to recognize How are we? What is our purpose? Where we are moving? What do we know that we can share with somebody else? You know, my great-grandma may not have directly taught me a recipe or a crocheting or knitting pattern, but somewhere down the food chain, somebody still is doing something like that. Is there something within me that says, let me learn something about it, let me keep this memory treasured within our family? It is very important to understand how we add value to the next generation, or how we leave the continuity with a healthy momentum of life to carry on. What are we doing to this world? There is, on YouTube, there is a version of What a Wonderful World in Louis Armstrong's voice, and I just stumbled upon another version. There's a little small blurb in that version, and I feel I would like to leave that thought as a closure to stimulate the mind, and it says, it's not what the world is doing to us, but it is what we are doing to the world that we need to understand. Nobody is doing anything to us. It is us that are impacting what is being done to us in return. Personal responsibility. The laws of frequency. Everything is connected. The law of one. Everything that we do, think, feel, comes back to us in some way, shape, or form. And it's not just the action, it's not just the spoken word. The thought is powerful. You may sit quiet and think so many things, and know that nobody hears that voice. Somebody out there in the universe knows everything that is going on here. And that ripple of that thought, we understand through our own philosophy here. It returns to us somewhere, shape or form. Thoughts are powerful. Thoughts are things. It's not just the spoken word. It's not just the action. Thoughts are things. So understand the value of simple thing of that thought, what it can create. You think love, you think harmony, you think compassion, it will come back to you. If you think healing, it will return to you. If you think well-being, it will come back to us in life. If you think brotherhood, it will come back. If you think community, it will come back to you. But what is valuable? What about us? What about me? How am I impacting this universe with my thought, action, speech, and participation with life? Just a simple thing to remember. Everything gets put in perspective. But that's a choice we all make. We have free will, and we have a personal responsibility to be at our best the way we choose to be. Thank you.